Hello, my lovelies. I know it's been a little while. My name is Kim. I am known as the Snitch Stitcher here on FlossTube and on Instagram. And this is my channel about cross stitch. Primarily, it is all cross stitch. There's a little poetry at the end, a little bit of this, that, and the other, but primarily cross stitch. If you are new here, thank you so much for popping by. If you like what you see, hit the like and subscribe button down below, and gives me some happy chemicals in my brain. Everybody needs that. If you are coming back, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you guys all for spending time with me. I know that there's so many floss tubers. There are tons and tons of floss tubers, and not everybody matches up, and that's cool. If you like me, great. If you don't, that's cool. If you like me now and don't like me later, whatever. I don't care. I'm just here to talk about it. Yes, I am a crazy craft lady. So let's get started. I know it's been a while. I had power issues. There was a lot of issues when I went to do my last video. I did partially record it, then I had some technical difficulties, and then we were having power issues, and it just got away from me, and then I just never did catch up. So here we are. I'm back on my regularly scheduled dates. So I have done some stitching. Now there was a few days I just didn't get much stitching done. I was I was in a stitchy drought big time. It happens. It happens. It's just life. But I have gotten some stitching done. So let's just go ahead and jump into there. See what whips I've got going. I've got my bucket over here. So let's grab a few and see where we are at. So you guys are used to seeing this, and this is one of my Alice in Wonderland bags. No, it is not a Tanya bag. I know. This is Matter in Hand, and this is by Jeanette Douglas. And this is one of the birthday sales. This is actually the birthday sale for Tammy, Leopard and Lace Co. XOXO. I think I'm further along on it than she is, and that's okay. I think she was having some troubles with it, and she has been so freaking busy with other stuff. I haven't got a whole lot more done, but I have gotten some done. I did manage to work on getting this the flowers here. So we are getting some progress. I have not, and normally I work on this and the Fruit of Plenty the first week of the month. Yes, I know what is today is the 3rd. I still haven't worked on this or the Fruit of Plenty. It'll happen. It'll happen this coming week. It's just, sometimes you just stitch on what calls to you. I try to kind of keep a little bit of a schedule, but do I have to? No, this is my stitching. This is for fun. I'm not going to shame myself for it. This is a hobby. This is fun stuff. Oh, so this is yet another not Tanya bag. This is Golden Familiars, and this is just not fabulous. Renee does such an amazing job, and look at that. This is a little bit of a newer project. I can't remember the exact date that I started it. I know I have it in my book. This is Sheep Quilt, and it is by Cotton Pixels, and it's going to be a 3D stand-up sheep. And I know it is super wrinkled because I don't really iron stuff until I'm done and getting ready to do something with it, and that rarely ever happens, so we don't iron. I am loving these little curly cues. This is half of the quilt, so this is basically just going to be folded over, kind of like this, to make a sheep, and it'll have like some felt for the head and like a little tail, and it'll stand up. It is so super cute, but I really do love those curly cues and the quilt. And this is going to have some fringe. That's why I haven't done the blue outline yet, because it's going to have some fringe, and I'm going to have to talk my way through it. That'll probably be one of the last things I do, but I am getting some progress. I've been taking this one with me to work, so it works well at work, especially filling in the little quilt square. I just really haven't worked on it a whole lot. I did work the other night, and I did just a row of the little curly cues, the wool circles. And then I switched to something else because white is not my favorite to stitch on, but it's okay. But stitching on that did score me some really wonderful stitchy kindness. I'll share more with you here in a minute. Let me get through the whips, because you guys know that I will get sidetracked because I have the attention span of an ant. So this is a bag that I've had for a while. It's really too big for this scroll frame. I need to get the dimensions of what I need over to Tanya so she can make me a scroll frame bag. Have I done it yet? Of course not. That would make sense. That would make way too much sense. But you know what these colors are. You know what these colors are. And these floss drops. This is my Flamboyance of Flamingos. And this is by Carolyn Manning. I do have it on a scroll frame. And the reason I leave it on a scroll frame, because this is one of my few projects that does not travel with me. I don't drop it in my purse or anything. It's 1 over 1 on 28, and it's kind of hard to see sometimes. You know, yes, I am getting older. I am a Gen X girl. So I have been getting some good progress on it. I managed to get on one of the What the Flock Fridays, I did manage to get a lot of that blue done. And then on another Friday, I started coming back with that darker pink. So we are getting some progress. I don't remember what my percentage is. Y'all, I don't keep up with that. The only thing that I'm kind of sort of keeping up with percentages on is my Moroccan Lanterns. And that's just because, yes, I have picked it back up. And the reason I'm keeping up with it is it's just kind of a running joke between 2 of my friends and I. Julie and Kelly. They just both started Moroccan Lanterns, and Kelly is very competitive. Very competitive. Of course, I'm way ahead of her, but at the rate that I stitch with all my different projects, she's really good about focusing. I'm at 33% or 30 some odd percent. She's at like, I don't remember what percentage. She just started it yesterday. But she's very competitive, so I would not be surprised if she comes and just blows me out of the water before too long, because that's what she does, and I think it's awesome. But that's the kind of the fun thing. And I'll tell you more about what the issues were with that. So a project that I am working on, this is in another Alice in Wonderland bag. It is the Stacy Nash Gingerbread House sewing book. This is not mine. This is Tammy, Leopard and Lace Co. XOXO. She started this. She was just getting frustrated with it. And she's been doing some finishing for me. And I said, hey, how about I stitch on that for you and we'll work out something with finishing. So we did. So I have managed to get the little gingerbread village or ginger whatever it is. And I'm working on some of the little decorative pieces. So, I mean, there is still to do here on the front. I mean, there's holly boughs and ribbons and stuff like that. And then I've got another piece of fabric that I'll be working on for the back. So I'll be pulling that out some. I need to try to focus more on it because I do want to go ahead and get that done for her, because I've already have gotten back my finished stuff from her. So another Alice in Wonderland bag. You guys are familiar with this one. This is one of the projects that I use as my patriotic stitching. I don't have to even use a board for this. This is One Nation, and it's by Bygone Stitches, and it's a pretty good size baby. So here we go. Now I have been working on some of the states. So I don't remember if last time I had this line done or not. But I did start Louisiana. Now, I was born in Louisiana, so I wanted to do it in a different color. And Texas, because that's where I currently live, will also be in blue. For Louisiana, instead of the U, I did do a fleur-de-lis. I just found a fleur-de-lis pattern in one of my pattern books and shrunk it down. So I think it looks pretty good. When I get ready to do Texas, I don't know, either for the A or the X, I haven't decided which one. I'm going to do like a Texas star, the red, white, and blue star. At least that's my plan. We'll see what happens when I get there. That's a future me problem. But I have been making at least a little bit of progress on it. You know, this is one of those ones that kind of comes and goes. And the great thing about this project is great for whatever kind of stitching I want to do. If I want thoughtless stitching, I can work on the lines because it's just a straight freaking line. And I do half stitches and then come back with that. Actually, I'll do half stitches all the way around the box and then come back with the other half stitch going all the way around. If I want to have a little bit more, not necessarily mindless stitching, but not have to really follow the pattern, I can work on the stars because all the stars are exactly the same. and I can just look at the other ones and I don't have to have a pattern with me. If I want to see some progress, I'll work on the letters, because seems like working on the letters and doing the words seems to go by fairly quickly, provided I'm paying attention. Sorry, this one's got jinglies and it's fallen over. So, you know, it's got all kinds of different stitching for me, but that's fine. Another Alice in Wonderland bag, and yes, this is another Tanya bag. And this one was one of my Whip Go pieces. Let me grab my board. This is the Alice in Wonderland tree, and y'all, I was not paying attention when I worked on the Mad Hatter. And okay, so this is where we're at. So there's a line here, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff that's down here at the bottom. Then we're getting there. I still haven't done any of the back stitching, of course. When I did the Mad Hatter, because I had the green line going across here, just like half stitches going across, because when I came down, that's all I did. Oh, and I think I made a mistake. I think I found a mistake. So I still have to come down with the other column of green and fill in those half stitches. And you'll notice on there, that's how I count my tenths. I'll go down half stitches of 9, and on the 10th one, I'll do a full X, and then I'll do 9, and then I'll do full X. And that kind of helps me keep track of what I'm doing. It's fine if you're just using DMC. If you're using overdyes, of course, if you want to get the full effect of your overdyes, that's not necessarily a great idea, but you know, I digress. So I started it from the top. I added actually an extra row right here on his hat. Didn't realize it until I got ready to do the White Rabbit the other day, and I had the green line going across there, and because I added that, it was going to make it uneven. So instead of ripping this guy out, and I wanted to keep these even, I just pulled out those half stitches that I had going across and put the rabbit on the same level as the Mad Hatter. I am working on this on a paper pattern, so I did circle it and make really good notes, because it's going to throw off everything over here and over here with things that I count off of from these little leaves and stuff, because there are the way the little motifs come around. So I am going to have to pay attention to that later. So that's a future me problem. Future me and past me are constantly going back and forth, but that's fine. It's fine. It's my problem. It's all good. But it is looking really good. So I guess it's time to pass on that one. The pattern has spoken. Okay, so let's get that one tucked back in there. Okay, so I also pulled out the other day another Tanya bag, and this is in All My Ladies, and this is Selflove. This one is just, I love stitching on it. I haven't been pulling it out as much. I don't know why. I've just been, I don't know, I've been kind of a little bit of a funk, but it's fine. Now there's one thing with the pattern that is a little frustrating, and I didn't really catch it at first, and then I tried to mock it and I hated it. There is no apostrophe in the I'm. So I ended up, I ripped it out and redid it and added the apostrophe in there. So we've got that going. And then I just did finish out this little motif here. And there'll be a matching one, of course, on the other side. So I've been kind of skipping around to whatever, how in depth I want to work on. I did want to start kind of going, when I went down this way, because it was just something simple to work on. I didn't really have to think about the pattern. This one I had to think a little bit more and kind of plan my route, since I'm doing this in overdyed silk. And the silk that I'm using is from Mo's, M-O''S, Sale, S-A-L-E. They have a, it's Mo Bittner. They have a Facebook page, and they do a sale on silks every week, different colors and different things. I'm telling you, these colors are gorgeous. The floss, just, it feels so nice to work with. Whoops, dropped something, sorry about that. Okay, so this is one that I dredged out. This is one of my local stitchy gals made this for me. Lana. And, ooh, it's kind of, well, and it's a little loud because I have all my stuff. And yes, it does say Stitch Bitch on this little box. I am going over from bobbins to floss drops, so I'm not going to have a lot of those that I'm going to have to deal with. This is a pattern, let me see, I started this in January of 22. And there's a little history here. Okay, number one, it is a flamingo. Number two, this fabric was from a general craft retreat where we were teaching how to dye fabric. And in the process, yes, it does have neon green. There was spillage. Somebody was shaking up the green. The lid was not on all the way. Neon green splatters went everywhere. Some got on this fabric. Well, Tammy decided she was like, okay, I don't know about all that green. She already had some dye that was still sitting in a cup, and we were just using solo cups because it's a smaller piece of fabric. I mean, it's smaller. So she just kind of wadded it up and tossed it in that pink dye, and this is what we got. We've been calling it cherry limeade because that's kind of what it makes me think of. But this is tropical flamingo, flamingo with tropical flowers. Sorry. This is from Little Room in the Attic. Now, I have fully finished stitching all of the actual stitches. However, I love her. I love her designs. But this has got a back stitching from hell on this. And it does make it really pop. I got the stitching done. Well, and the way I ended up doing it, I was doing it on, I was using GoodNotes and just marking it off kind of as I went. But I had gotten off somewhere. I had gotten off a little bit up here. I was really frustrated. So I just dropped it into markup, and I spent a day just kind of matching the pattern. Well, not even a day. It maybe took me about an hour going through matching the pattern to markup. And then I was able to finish stitching it, and it made it a whole lot easier. So if you aren't sure about doing some of these digital pattern trackers like Pattern Keeper or Markup RX, do the trial, check it out. I have both. Pattern Keeper, I do have an Android tablet. I'm not as comfortable with Android as I am with like Apple products. But I do have Markup RX. The one thing the one difference between the two, okay, Pattern Keeper, it's great. I mean, I love what it does. I love how it does. The negative for me is having a different device to put it on that I'm not as comfortable with. And so I have some stuff on that one, and I have some stuff on my iPad. Now on my iPad, I do, and the nice thing about Pattern Keeper is it's a one-time fee. One time, done, you're good. However, Markup RX, similar program, you can use it on any device, but I think it's a yearly fee. So it's kind of frustrating. But I have it on the device that I have with me all the time. I can, whatever I need to do. Now, it doesn't work from device to device. So if I have it on my phone and I have it on my iPad, those are two different things. Now, you can export and import and all that other stuff. I don't want to have to do that because I will screw it up. That's just me. So it does, it does tell you that it does make it a little bit easier, especially when you have a lot of different color changes, to be able to track them and see, and you can see when you're done with stitches. I was so excited when I went through on some of those. I'm like, oh, I am done. So I've got a bunch of flosses that I will be able to put back into my stash here soon. Of course, I do have to finish back stitching first. Ew, boo hiss, boo hiss. I'll be working on that later. Future me, future me. Okay, another Tanya bag, the catacorns. Love it. So this is my Moroccan Lanterns. And I told you guys that I did. Y'all, I have been having troubles with this baby. It is gorgeous, number one. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. The colors are amazing. And what's really neat, honestly, if you decide to do this pattern, the primary color, of course, that you're going to need is 310. I'm doing mine 2/2 on 32 count, so it is a little bit larger. I know people that have done it on a smaller count and over one. Just keep in mind, you don't necessarily have to, if you have the colors in your stash already, you really don't need much for each lantern of each of the different colors. Of course, in this, I did use more of this darker orange, but still, it's really not a whole lot. It's really not a lot of stitches for each color. The primary color is 310. Now, I do have this is an asshole lantern. This is kind of what I've been calling it, this one. I have had to rip this sucker out multiple times just because I couldn't count. I don't know what I did. I screwed something up. But one of the times when I went to go frog it, I was ripping the stitches. I was using a seam ripper, which I'm usually very accurate with. But I got frustrated and I really wasn't paying attention, and I cut a couple, one of my threads of my fabric. Luckily, it was in a space where it was underneath where stitches were. So after putting this away for a while, and then I got enabled to start it back up due to Julie and Kelly, I ended up just snipping a little corner, actually. This little corner right here. This is how small it was. Just this small little bit. And that was actually bigger than what I needed. Let me try to get over here to where I need. I snipped just a little patch. And then I used some basting stitches with another color thread just to lightly baste it to keep it on there. And then I stitched over it. Yes, my back is a mess. I get it. It is. Especially in that area because I had done some stitching, and then I have a booger here because I had gone over too far, and I had been going like there and back and there and back and there and back. So I had ripped those stitches out because I was over too far by one. So I just kind of pulled them back and then zigzagged over to pull those stitches back, and then went back and added where I needed to. I've kind of gone back over those stitches a little bit more. So that's kind of how you can fix some stuff if you have a boo-boo. It's not the end of the world, but I wanted that lantern to finally be correct because it has been kicking my butt. But I think I am back on the track of this one. I'm now at like 30 some odd percent. I think I have another lantern up here, and then we've got like the big ones. We've got a couple big ones. So it is getting there. I'm hoping that now that I'm over the trauma, hopefully I can get back on track and get to working on this one again, because I do enjoy working on it. I think I just got a little frustrated with it. I worked on it last year, like the big blue lantern at StitchCon, and I think I kind of burned myself out on it at that point in time, and then trying to get back into doing the others. Yeah, it just happens. Okay, so this brings me to, and I have them in 2 different bags because I have 5 patterns. And they're both Frida bags. They're just 2 different sizes. And yes, these are both Tanya bags. So in the month of July, I did what I call Freda Frenzy. Because Frida Kahlo, she was an artist, an activist. She's the unibrow lady. Yeah. This lady right here, considering this is Frida. She was known for color, surrealism. She just, yeah. She was born in the month of July and died in the month of July. So I decided, what the heck? And I wanted to do a Freda Frenzy. So for the month of July, I did a new start. I did 5 new starts. Now this one, I can tell you I have not picked it back up since I started it. So actually I did do a little bit of work. Very little work. Since the last time you saw it. This is Frida. This is from Barbara Designs. I am doing it on the Petit Point fabric. It's like a soft blue. This is her dress. Yes, I know you can see the polka dots through it, but it'll have other polka dots on top of it. It's a yellow dress with white polka dots. I am doing this. This is I believe a 20. Is it a 20 count? 22 count? 20 count. 20 count Ada. 1/1. Because 2 was too much, and I didn't want it to be too huge. So we're going to work on her. We'll get her done. She's not as much fun to stitch, and I think that's because of the fabric. And I thought about starting her over on another fabric, but I really love this fabric. The thing is okay, number 1, it is kind of stiff. Number 2, those polka dots are like painted on, and so you have to poke your needle through. So it gets a little frustrating. Yeah, it gets a little frustrating. Okay, so I've got my other ones here in this other bag. This is my bigger bag. So my first, okay, so this one, this is my Frida. This is Frida Kahlo quote. Got the unibrows. So this one, I did start it on a Friday a couple weeks ago, because I was starting them on Wednesday. But that following Friday, I went to start it, and I miscounted. And I got all the way done with half the eyebrow and realized that I had miscounted, and it was really way off, and it was going to throw everything else off. So I had to frog it. And I put it up on my Instagram, and everybody's like, oh no, I'm sorry. I'm just like, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it sucks. But after a Zoom with my girls and us just kind of chit-chatting, I managed to get it going. It does have all these really pretty colors with it. So, yeah, she'll be getting there soon. We'll be working on her. Actually, let me fold her back up how I had her. I've been kind of, not really burrito rolling them. I've just been putting the flosses in there. Since I have several in one bag, it just made more sense to do that. So this is another Frida, of course, because, you know, in these really pretty colors. And the nice thing is not all of these are the same necessarily color palette, which makes it kind of fun. This one is Frida by Anastasia Slavina. And I have 2 pieces of fabric. I'm not stitching on both at the same time. This is her dress. Let me get in the right spot. She's actually going to be a doll. This was originally supposed to be done on like 20 or 14 count plastic canvas. This is a 28 count Monaco. I think actually all of these are on 28 count Monaco. Because I had just one big piece and I was like, oh, wait. And I actually have some fabric left over. So she does have separate little arms. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do those. But the idea, I'm hoping this one doesn't bite me in the ass now that I realize how small it is. The idea is that I was going to sew this together to make it into like a little doll. The arms are going to be snug. So I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But that's where we are now. See, I make all these grand plans. Do I think them out? Do I think them all the way through? Heck no. Why? Why would we do that? That would make way too much sense. Okay, and so then I have my little one, and oh my gosh, I put this up on my Instagram because the last time we showed this, when I showed it one time, it didn't have the back stitching, and so she looked like a really creepy doll. So I did add the little bit of back stitching on the face because she was kind of creeping me out. So I worked on this one the other day. I did do a little bit of her eyes and stuff. There's still a lot of back stitching. She's going to be, it's basically like a little stamp. This is from Sweet Annet. And it usually makes it look like a postage stamp. I'm not doing the postage stamp, you know, border thing. I'm just going to go ahead and finish her out. And she is a little full coverage piece. And I think there's like 1,500 stitches just in this little piece. Makes you kind of realize how many freaking stitches. And these are her colors. It's an awful lot of colors for this little bitty piece. It's all good. We got it. Okay, and then this one is the fun one. So this is by the same lady that did my Flamingo with tropical flowers. This is Little Room in the Attic. Look at all these colors. Look at all these gorgeous colors. So pretty, so pretty, so pretty. And here she is. So I've gotten part of her face done. This pattern is the one that has all the Kreinik. She's got number 4 braid. She's got, let's see, what all is this? We've got blending filament in the pink and the blue and the gold. And then we also have the Kreinik number 4 braid. That's all going to be in her eyelashes and her hair, and it just everywhere. She's really pretty. Really, really pretty. She's going to probably take me a while. Like I said, I just got her face done, and I'm going to continue to work on the rest of it, but she's going to be beautiful. But that's all the stitching I've got done. Not too bad. Not too bad. Sometimes I do more, sometimes I do less. I usually try to stitch at least once a day. But there for a few days, I wasn't feeling it. And it's okay. It's okay to not stitch. I really wasn't feeling much of anything. I listened to some music. I just kind of chilled out. There really wasn't a whole lot going on. So, I did, however, there was actually one other project that I had. And I have a finish. It is wrinkled as all get out because I don't know what happened, but it got wrinkled. You try to smooth it out a little bit. This is Sunshine and Sweet Tea, and this is on Cosmo Floss. This is by Pixel Pixie, and it's super cute. We actually got this as a freebie at the Stitch or the Dirty Annie's retreat, the first one that she had was September of last year. And my friend Anna and I both started this in April at Stitching Texas. Anna finished hers like that. Did I? Obviously not. Well, I started mine there, and then I hop around. I project hop. I am a project hopping whore. I will admit it. It is what it is. I like to project hop. I like to go with whatever hits me at the moment. This one hit me for a little bit, and then I was good. But it is really cool. So cute. And the colors are just not coming out the way they should. It is dreary outside. That's why I was trying to hurry up and record in between storms, because we've had weather. It's been really weird today. So I had my finish. Let's see, plan. So I need a female positive pattern. I need it pretty quick. So August 26th is Women's Equality Day. I need a female positive pattern. That's a lot of P's. Female positive pattern. For me to start on the 26th. So if you have ideas, let me know. Pretty please. Sooner rather than later. So I can get the pattern, I can get the flosses together, figure out what the heck I'm going to do. Because, we're going to have another start. Because yes, let's just do another start. Because that's what we do. That's what we do. Let's see. Other than that, I do know that tomorrow, the 4th, I am going to be working on One Nation. It is the Coast Guard birthday. So I'll be working on it then. For sure. I mean, I'm sure I'll be working on it other than that. But I am working on One Nation on patriotic type holidays, military birthdays, that kind of thing. And then, of course, I have my usuals, which is Fridays is What the Flock Friday. So I work on something Flamingo related. I've pretty much kept up with that. Mostly. Now, my friend Kelly, she's His Princess Kelly on Instagram, and she's Don't Run with Scissors on FlossTube. She has been doing, not all the time, but sometimes she'll work on her sheep. So her flock of sheep on Fridays. So she can participate in What the Flock Friday. Let's see. So on the 13th, I do try to remember to work on Jacques de Lantern. I've been failing, but I do work on him some. 14th is something love related, which I have sucked at that lately. I have so totally sucked at that lately. And then because we do have the 31st of the month, I am going to be working on something Halloween. Now we did have a 31st of the month for the July. Didn't happen. Flat didn't happen. That was because, it was my Thursday night stitching bitch. It was a thing. I just didn't do it. But it's okay. That's the great thing about this. This is a hobby. It doesn't have to be an exact. So those are our plans. Now, a couple of things. This is so cool. Okay, so I have come across some new stitchers. I did do, see, squirrel. I didn't put it all on my notes. I did go to the Midsummer Stitch. I only went on Saturday. Sunday, I just was not feeling it. And we were having power issues, and the electricity was flicking off and on. All kinds of stuff like that. But I got into a room. Normally, I will kind of stick with my gals that are some of my Tuesday and Thursday night girls. But I just popped into a room and met some of the most awesome people. And I have some new people to follow. Well, actually, some of them I've already been following, which I thought was really kind of cool. I was like, oh, I get to actually meet them. So it was fun. But I did get to meet some other people, one of which is Mary. She is known as a Mary Stitcher on Instagram and on Facebook. And we were talking about white floss and about stitching with white floss. I primarily like to use cone floss, and I use B5200. I don't use Blanc. I just use B5200. I have a small cone of it. I think it's the 100-gram cone. And I like how it lays. It works great. But sometimes on a pattern, it'll call for a different kind of white, because there are blue whites, there are yellow whites. There's just kind of different kind of shades of white, which you wouldn't think that there would be, but there are. There are undertones. So, yes, I have stutter color theory, and because I've been painting and stuff for years. I mean, you can see on this side over there. I've got a bunch of my paints. You can see I've got like 3 things of those of paints, but I digress. So anyway, we were talking about different kinds of floss, and I pulled out my sheep quilt because the swirlies, the wool swirlies, are being done on chalk from Gentle Art, the shaker flosses. Well, talking to Mary, she bought a whole bunch of skeins for it for a project and really just didn't like it. She didn't like the necessarily the color because it's kind of got like a little bit of a blue undertone to it. She wasn't real thrilled with it, and she's like, well, she said, I've got it here. She said, I'm trying to clear out stuff. How would I send it to you? And I'm like, sure. I thought maybe it was a couple of skeins. Y'all, it's like 10 skeins. She just sent it to me. Look at that. All that. Is that not just fabulous? Because I will definitely use it. Y'all know I am a fabric and a floss slut. Totally. But it was she sent me a sweet note. It says, it was so good to meet you at Midsummer Stitch. Hope you enjoy the floss. I have so many options. I'm happy to put these in the hands of someone who already knows and likes it. And she went on to put other stuff, but it was a really sweet note that I got from her along with the floss. She didn't have to do that, and it was really cool. I will cover up the addresses, but she put like this cute little, well, that's my name. You can see that, deal on there. And then she put a K on there on the back, which I thought was really sweet. And it was just super kind of her to do that. That's the great thing about our community is, somebody's missing something, and everybody's like, hey, well, send me your address. I've got like 3 of those. I'll send one over to you. And sometimes it's just DMC because they're like, oh, I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to go to the store. Because, people work. People have a life. People have things to do. And sometimes they can't get to a store or they don't have one close to them. Even if it's just a Michael's. It doesn't necessarily have to be an LNS. But it's so wonderful to see our community and how we love and share. We love to love on each other. And it's awesome. It's so awesome. Speaking of which, of love and community, my friend Debbie, some of you guys know Debbie Coburn. She's known as the Bag Lady locally at a lot of the Texas retreats. She's been stitching since God was a boy. She is one of my very good friends. She is super sweet. She lives over in Louisiana, and she drives like 2.5 hours to come to our monthly stitchy group. Because it is that fabulous. I would drive 2.5 hours once a month to go sit with these ladies and stitch because it's an all-day thing. We eat, we visit, we give each other a hard time, the whole shebang. But she is so kind. She has, being an older stitcher, she has been stitching for a lot of years, and she knows a lot of people that have been stitching for a lot of years, and she's had friends that have passed away or other people that she knows of, or she always keeps an ear out because everybody knows her. Seriously, everybody in the freaking stitching community within probably about a 500-mile radius knows this lady. And if they find out, if somebody has passed or something like that, or they know of somebody, or if they know of an estate sale or something like that, they'll give her a call. She'll go buy it, or if she knows them, a lot of times, I have a contingency plan for my floss and my projects and my stash. I have some friends that it goes in a specific order. One particular will take a look at it and she gets first dibs. And then after that, she divvies it out amongst the rest of them. And if there's anything left, it'll donate to one of my local groups to sell or do whatever they want to do. It'll be distributed because I'll be dead. I don't care what happens to it. I want my friends to be able to benefit. I digress. See, rabbit holes. So she goes to these estate sales, things like that. She has enough stuff. She could probably open up a freaking store all her own. We call it the Dead Lady Stash. Yes, we're probably going to hell for that, but it's the Dead Lady Stash. A lot of it. And Debbie is very generous. Very, very generous. She brings stuff to our local Stitchy group. If she, we'll be talking on a Zoom or talking a Stitchy group or talking in chat or something, and she hears something, oh, well, hey, I've got that. I can bring it to you. There was this gorgeous red floss that she was working on, and I told her, I said, oh, gosh, that is gorgeous because I'm a sucker for a pretty red. And she before the end of the meeting, she just handed it to me. She says, here, have it. And then she sent me some more. So, she's wonderful. And she is a friend. She does this for people that she likes and she loves and cares about. She just sent Kelly a nice big care package of goodies. And I think she was more excited. Kelly was super excited to get this and get all the stuff. But I think Debbie was just as excited to get it together and to send it to her because she knew that Kelly would enjoy it. So she did. Now, I have been on the lookout. The outlook. I can't talk. I've been wanting to get like a smaller scroll frame for some of my projects. So I was thinking, she's like, oh, I've got different scroll frames. She said, let me see what I've got. I'll bring you something. So I have this one. This is one of the ones that you sew on. So the deal. I don't know. It's really sturdy. It doesn't have any markings or anything on it. So I have this one. And it does have where you could make it different sizes. And then I have a split rail one here. There's more. Because Debbie doesn't do just a little bit. She does a whole lot. And then I have this with 2 different sizes. And I have some other scroll rows that are larger ones. And she's like, well, you know, you could always do Velcro. So what does she do? She sends me home with a bunch of Velcro. This is Debbie. But we're not done yet. She also had some fabric. So some of the fabrics that I've been getting, and some of this stuff is older stuff. It's Dead Lady Stash. Dead Lady Stash. Okay, so some linen. Some more linen. This is actually some 18 count Ada, but that's a really pretty color. This is a, what is this? It's Murano, 32 count Murano, and it's got the, like the little flowers on it. And this is some even weave. I have to put this over here. And if that wasn't enough, because you always need gold, all of this, yes. But then there's more. On top of that really pretty red, and this is the Carrie's creation. She also had these flosses. They're silks. They are gorgeous. They are so pretty and they're soft. This is a whole bunch of other flosses that she had. These are Victorian Motto. These are 6-strand sweets, hand-dyed by Jessica Burr. Just flosses that she thought that I might like. Then, use this for gridding because it works really good. It's a filament. And then to add to that, I've got some Whisper. I got, some of this is needlepoint stuff. This is a twisted silk, but I have an idea for it. This is some of the nylon. This is the raise. It's actually, I mean, it's really pretty. Come on and zoom in. It's really pretty. But a lot of these different colors. I mean, look at these. These are gorgeous. And she says, here, just give them. All she asks is just don't turn around and sell it. Don't turn around and sell it on eBay. Or sell it on whatever. Stitchy Love. Isn't it wonderful? It is just absolutely wonderful. I love it. Okay. So now that we got all the Stitchy Love out of the way, I did do a little bit of shopping. So we have sorry, I'm trying to get the package out of the way. We have a few different options for local needlework shops. Our one of the shops that we had, the Stitch Niche, it has closed. It was business for quite some time, but it did close down. And so in its place over in Fort Worth area, because they were in Arlington. So in the Arlington, Fort Worth area, Wild Cactus has opened up, and it is cross stitch and needlepoint. I have not got a chance to go over there yet. I'm hoping before too long I'll get to go over there. Kara is super sweet, and I can't wait to see what she's done. It's just right down the road from what used to be the Stitch Niche. And then we do have a needlepoint store that also has a crap ton of floss, which is Creative Stitches and Gifts, and it's right off 635 in Preston, which is a few miles away from me. So sometimes if I just need floss, I can do that. I do, however, have 123 Stitch, which is in Louisville, which is not that far from me. They don't have a storefront, but you can order and pick up, or if I usually just order and get them deliver, and I usually get it within like 2 days. So it's awesome. But we do have a new shop that opened in Plano, and it's only by the way the crow flies, it's not that far, but because, you know, there is nothing direct in Dallas, it does take about 20 minutes or so depending on traffic. And that is Hoops and Needles. They are also doing quilting stuff. They're going to be doing Bernina machines, but they have cross stitch. They do have some floss. They do have some linens and things, and they're going to continue to build and grow. But Tanya and I got a chance to go over and visit with them and chit chat. I might possibly be doing some model stitching so they can get some stuff up on their walls. And so I'm excited about that, just to get to meet some more stitchers and have a closer LNS, which is awesome. So I did have a pattern that I had ordered because, y'all, I got tagged in this and got sent this probably 150 million trillion times. And it is Plum Street Samplers, Tropic Troop. Let me get that to go in there because, of course, it is Flamingos. Come on, zoom in. Zoom in, you evil camera. Anyway. So, you can't really tell because it's not one to zoom. It's probably trying to grab my head, but that's fine. It's really super cute. Love it. I didn't have all of the flosses because I have a lot of the stuff in other kits, but I was like, you know what? I'm there. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I have all my flosses now. I did have to do one sub. I did go by Creative Stitches and Gifts because there was one color that, or two colors that they did not have at Hoops and Needles. They are still building up their stock and trying to figure out what they do and don't need. This I got all from Hoops and Needles, which is overdyes. It's like Weeks and some classic colorworks, but I needed to get a couple others from Creative Stitches and Gifts. So Buckeye Scarlet and the other one, it was Green with Envy. Nobody had freaking Green with Envy from Gentle Art. So I did grab Moss from Weeks Dye Works. We'll see what happens. Even with all of mine, I mean, I had a couple of that were similar, but I was trying to get what I needed and to make sure that, you know, if I didn't have what I was wanting here, I went ahead and got this one as something close. We'll kind of see. We'll floss out. I still don't even know what fabric I'm going to put that on. So, you know, we'll see what happens with that. So I did do a little bit of a purchase. Other than that, that's it. Now I did get a sweet gift. So Tanya's daughter, she loves everything miniature, but she ended up, I have my flamingos, which you can't tell because they're kind of back behind here. Look at this little, I have different versions, different sizes of this. Isn't that cute? It's a tie, and I have like the little stuffy, and then I have a medium stuffy, and then I have like the big stuffy. But she added that to me, and I love it. It's wonderful. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I do know that in September, as future plans go, the Harvest Moon Hangout, I believe it's going to be the 19th through the 21st of September. It's the same weekend as Dirty Annie's. So I'm not going to be able to make Harvest Moon because I'll be at Annie's, and an in-person treat versus a virtual retreat. I'm going to be at the in-person retreat. And it's going to be awesome. If you're wanting to come to Texas and check it out, I think there's still places. DirtyAnniesRetreats.com, I believe is what it's called. It's in a Embassy Suites, so you do have a breakfast included. You do have like free cocktails and snacks in the afternoon, and then we have snacks during the day. It's a lot of fun. It's so much fun. This will be the third one of Annie's retreats, and I have to say it's my favorite retreat ever. It really, really is. It's my absolute favorite retreat. And I do know that trying to think of future plans, I think Kelly and I had talked about it, and we really haven't talked about it with anybody else yet, about going back to StitchCon next year. We'll see what happens. You know, with life, you never know. Anything could happen. But I am working on, I'm trying to make a decision. So y'all remember, I finished this guy, the Botanical Week. I still have not done the Ladybug Picnic yet. I haven't started it yet. But I have this little guy, and I found this little frame. And I think maybe I got it at Michael's. I don't know. I don't remember. Hell, I could have got it at the dollar store. Don't remember. But I think it's going to fit perfect. Because when I place it over like this, you can't see any of the pattern. But my thing is I don't know what I want to do with this. I thought about staining it. either a light brown or a dark brown, or just sealing it just as is, which I don't think that would do it justice. I did think about maybe painting it gold, but then I was debating, do I want to do it like a brassy kind of color? Do I want to do it like a bright gold, like a silver gold, or like a gold, an antique gold? I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, here we go. What do you think? I'm kind of leaning towards the shiny bright gold. I think it would be pretty. And then I'm going to tuck it down in here, and I'm going to have it kind of poofed out. I'm going to add some batting and stuff behind there. Actually, I may use some of my orts because I have a crap ton of them. That's what I keep my orts for, is for stuffing pillows and for adding padding for stuff like this. So let me know what you think. What color do you think? I'm kind of leaning towards the gold. I think partially because it has like this little goldy color here. And I think it would lend well, but I don't know. If you can think of another color, it's not like I don't have the paints. I got enough paints to choke a horse. So let me know what you think. Other than that, let's do some poetry. I do have a new poetry book, and it's from Ellie Bowman, and it's Shapeshifter Poems. It's really awesome. So this time I'm going to do Donna Ashworth and Ellie Bowman, and this one's To the Women. So I really like this one. This one just, woo. Take a sip before we go. This one's called Dear Friend. I don't need you at your best when you come to my home. I don't care what you're wearing or what car you drove here. I don't care if there's food on your shirt or if your hair has not been brushed. None of that matters to me. I care about you. I care about what's in your heart, how afraid you are, what you worry about at night. And I care about your deepest fears and your biggest dreams. I am there for it all. If you mess up, I won't judge. That's my promise to you. So don't cancel me because your house is a mess and your cupboards are bare. I will bring what you need with pleasure, and I will listen to your problems without measure. If you are on the floor, I'm picking you up, or I'm sitting down right beside you. You never need to be alone down there. And before I leave, I will have made you smile, or at least once. And that's my promise to you. So save your best for someone else, my friend, because I want you just as you are. That's what friends are for. My friends are definitely that. They definitely are. Okay, this one's from Shapeshifter. It's Ellie Bowman, and this is Soft White Underbelly. Instead of allowing life to harden our bones, we have to learn to soften. I want to become breakable. I want to become forgiving enough to grow. I learned to worship the creature in me because I had to. I had to love my body because it was the only thing that truly belonged to me. Walking the road of loneliness, I found the steady companion that is my breath. I found the ability to pardon myself while I struggled to learn a language I was told to forget. Self-love doesn't have to be a fickle wind that blows both hot and cold. Our truces don't have to be made unsteady when walking unsteady ground. We can hold ourselves as we crumble. We can pardon each imperfect piece we found. So, with that, remember that you can do it. You have people. If you don't have people, you got me. Reach out. We are stronger together. And life does go on, regardless. But it's going to be a good week. It's going to be a good month. It's the beginning of a new one. I can't believe it's already August. And let's just go out there and kick its butt. 2025 has been a doozy so far. But it's going to be good. It is going to be what we make of it. And life goes on. So do what makes your heart happy and just keep stitching. And I hope to see you guys on Instagram and all the other places. Reach out, say hey. I still do my Tuesday night sit and stitch on Zoom. It starts at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time in the U.S. And we go till about 9 or so. Sometimes later, it just depends on what's going on. And it's every Tuesday. And I put a post up on my page about 4 p.m. Central Time, and it will have the link. Well, not the post doesn't, but it'll have the information. The link is in my Instagram profile on my link tree. So have a good one, and I hope to see you guys soon. Love you guys.